There are two types of people in this world: those who wait for something to happen and those who prepare for it. And between these two groups, one question stands like a great doorway: are you ready? You see, we often ask God for a breakthrough. We pray for change, we long for deliverance, we plead for new opportunities. And yet, if we were to truly look into our own hearts, we might find that we are not ready to receive what we ask for. Consider the farmer. He does not wait for rain before he plows the field. No, he prepares the soil, plants the seed, and trusts that the rain will come. But suppose a man were to sit with folded arms, saying, "I will plant when I see the rain." Would you not call him a fool? And yet, how often do we do the same? We say we are waiting on God, but what if He is waiting on us? The greatest breakthroughs in history did not come to those who sat idly by. They came to those who prepared in faith. Noah built the ark before the flood. Moses stretched out his staff before the sea parted. The walls of Jericho did not fall until the people marched around them in obedience. We do not prepare because we see the breakthrough. We prepare because we trust the one who brings it. And yet there is another obstacle: fear. Some of us are like the Israelites standing before the promised land. It is there, just within reach, yet we hesitate. Why? Because the giants look too big, because the walls seem too high, because we have grown comfortable in the wilderness, afraid to step into what is next. But let me tell you a great and terrible truth. God will not force you into your breakthrough. He will invite you, He will call you, but He will not drag you. The door is open, but you must walk through it. So I ask you again, are you ready? Not are you hopeful, not are you waiting, but are you ready? For the moment may come sooner than you think, and when it does, may you not be found sleeping but standing, ready, prepared, and willing to step forward in faith. God is asking, the breakthrough is near. Are you ready? A breakthrough is often seen as a sudden life-changing event, an open door, an unexpected opportunity, or a shift in circumstances that changes everything. But breakthroughs, whether in spiritual life, career, relationships, or personal growth, are rarely as sudden as they appear. They are the result of preparation, often unseen, long before the moment arrives. When we examine history, faith, and even the natural world, we see a consistent truth: preparation precedes transformation. So, consider a seed planted in the soil. At first, nothing seems to happen. Days, even weeks, may pass without any visible sign of growth. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, drawing nutrients, strengthening the foundation. If you were to dig up the seed too soon, you might think it had failed, that nothing was happening. Yet, when the conditions are right, when the preparation is complete, the seed breaks through the soil. What seemed sudden to the observer was, in reality, the result of a process that had been happening all along. This is how breakthroughs work. They are not random flashes of luck. They are the result of unseen preparation. Too often, people desire a breakthrough without preparing for it. They want to step into a new season of blessing without first going through the process that shapes them for it. They pray for opportunities, but fail to develop the skills, character, and discipline needed to sustain them. They ask for a new path, but refuse to take the steps necessary to walk it. Imagine a man who longs to be a great musician but never practices his instrument. He dreams of standing on great stages, playing before thousands, but he neglects the hours of practice required to make that dream a reality. Suppose, by some miracle, he is given the opportunity he desires. Suppose he is invited to perform before an audience, given the stage he has longed for. What will happen? He will fail, not because the opportunity was not real, but because he was unprepared to meet it. The breakthrough came, but he was not ready to receive it. Many people live this way, waiting for something to happen without doing the work that prepares them for it. They want a successful business but do not study the craft. They desire strong relationships but refuse to build the habits of kindness, patience, and forgiveness. They pray for wisdom but do not seek understanding. They want open doors but do not walk through the small ones that are already before them. They believe that when the moment comes, they will rise to the occasion. But the truth is that no one rises to the occasion. They rise or fall to the level of their preparation. Scripture and history are filled with examples of this principle. Noah did not wait for the rain before he built the ark. The rain was coming, but had he not prepared, he and his family would have perished. Joseph in Egypt did not wait for famine to store grain. He prepared in the years of plenty so that when the famine came, he was ready. The Israelites did not wait for the walls of Jericho to fall before they marched around the city in obedience. They walked in faith, preparing for what they could not yet see. Every great breakthrough in history has followed this same pattern, a season of preparation before the moment of transformation. This is why preparation is so critical. It determines whether a breakthrough becomes a blessing or a burden. An opportunity given too soon can destroy rather than uplift. A responsibility placed in the hands of someone unready can overwhelm rather than empower. This is why God in His wisdom often delays breakthroughs, not because He is withholding good things, but because He is preparing His people to receive them. The waiting season, the time of hidden preparation, is not a punishment, it is a process. It is in this time that character is forged, wisdom is gained, and faith is strengthened. Those who resist this process, who attempt to force a breakthrough before its time, often find that what they chased after does not bring the fulfillment they expected. But those who embrace the process, who prepare in faith, find that when the breakthrough comes, they are ready to walk in it. One of the greatest dangers is mistaking motion for preparation. Many people fill their lives with activity but do not actually prepare for the breakthrough they desire. They are busy, but they are not growing. They are constantly moving, but they are not moving forward. Preparation is not about doing more. It is about doing what is necessary. A soldier does not prepare for battle by engaging in random activity. He trains with discipline, focusing on the skills and mindset required to face the fight ahead. In the same way, preparing for a breakthrough requires intentionality. It requires looking ahead with wisdom, asking, "What must I become to walk in what I am asking for?" If one desires to lead, they must develop the character of a leader. If they seek financial breakthrough, they must learn the principles of stewardship. If they long for spiritual renewal, they must cultivate a life of prayer, study, and obedience. Preparation is the evidence of faith. It is the act of living today in a way that aligns with the future one is believing for. There is a story often told of two farmers who both prayed for rain during a drought. Both asked for God's provision. Both longed for the breakthrough of a harvest. But only one of them went out and plowed his fields, preparing for the rain before a single drop had fallen. The question, then, is not whether God will send the breakthrough. The question is, who will be ready to receive it when it comes? The challenge for each of us is to examine our own lives and ask, am I truly preparing for the breakthrough I desire, or am I simply waiting, hoping it will come without any effort on my part? Have I cultivated the skills, the discipline, and the mindset required to walk in what I am asking for? If the door were to open today, would I be ready to step through it? Breakthroughs are not accidents. They are the natural outcome of preparation meeting opportunity. And while the timing of a breakthrough may not always be in our control, our readiness for it always is. The question is not whether change will come, but whether we will be ready when it does. Those who prepare in faith will find themselves walking confidently into their breakthrough, while those who wait passively may find that when the moment comes, they are not ready to receive it. In the end, the greatest breakthroughs do not happen to us. They happen through us. They are the result of a process of preparation, faith, and obedience, and when the moment arrives, those who have prepared will not be caught off guard. They will be ready. Faith in the unseen is one of the most difficult yet essential aspects of life. It requires a person to trust in what they cannot yet see, to walk forward without the full picture, and to believe that something exists even when there is no physical evidence of it. This principle is at the heart of many of the greatest achievements, both in history and in personal journeys. It is the foundation of spiritual growth, the key to perseverance, and the force that separates those who move forward in life from those who remain stuck in fear and doubt. Without faith in the unseen, a person is limited to only what they can perceive with their senses, which often means they miss out on greater possibilities that require trust before they become reality. A simple but profound example of this principle can be found in nature. Consider a farmer who plants seeds in the soil. He does not see immediate results, yet he waters the ground, removes the weeds, and cares for the field as if the harvest were already certain. To an outsider, his actions might seem foolish. Why labor over something that has not yet appeared? But the farmer knows that growth is happening beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. His faith in the unseen keeps him working, even in the absence of evidence. He understands that there is a process at play, and because he trusts that process, he does not lose hope when days or weeks pass without visible progress. The same is true in life. Many of the most significant breakthroughs, successes, and transformations happen long before there is any sign of them. A person working tirelessly toward a dream may see no immediate results, yet the foundation is being laid beneath the surface. A student studying for years may feel as if their efforts are unnoticed, but knowledge is being built. An athlete training daily may not see instant improvement, but their body is growing stronger. In all these cases, faith in the unseen is what allows the person to continue despite not yet seeing the outcome. Without faith, discouragement takes over, and the process is abandoned. This principle is also deeply rooted in spiritual life. Many of the greatest figures in history, particularly those who shaped faith and belief, were individuals who trusted in the unseen before it became reality. They acted not based on what they could immediately see, but on a conviction that something greater was at work. They moved forward despite uncertainty, believing that what was promised would eventually be fulfilled. Their faith was not blind. It was a deep assurance that the unseen was just as real as the visible, even if it had not yet appeared. The struggle, however, is that faith in the unseen is often uncomfortable. Human nature desires certainty, security, and tangible proof. The mind wants to know exactly how and when things will happen before taking action, but this is not how the greatest things in life unfold. The person who insists on waiting for absolute certainty before making a move often finds themselves trapped in inaction. They hesitate, overanalyze, and delay, waiting for conditions to be perfect before stepping forward. Yet, life does not reward those who wait for perfect conditions. It rewards those who trust the process and act in faith. The most successful individuals, whether in business, creativity, or personal growth, have all demonstrated a willingness to step into the unknown. They did not have guarantees when they started. They did not have every question answered, but they moved forward regardless, believing that the path would unfold as they walked it. Their faith in the unseen was what propelled them forward when others hesitated. This principle also applies to challenges and struggles. When facing difficulties, it is easy to believe that the struggle will never end, that the darkness will not lift, that things will never improve. But faith in the unseen reminds a person that just because they cannot see a way forward does not mean there is no way forward. Just because the solution is not visible does not mean it does not exist. Many breakthroughs come only after a person has endured long enough to reach them. If they give up too soon, they never see the fulfillment of what was waiting just beyond their last moment of struggle. Faith is what carries a person through these seasons, providing strength when circumstances suggest there is no reason to keep going. Faith in the unseen is not passive. It is active. It does not mean sitting idly by and hoping for something to change. It means taking steps, even small ones, in the direction of what is hoped for. It means continuing to work, even when results are not immediate. It means believing that the effort being put in today is shaping something that will become visible tomorrow. Those who act in faith move forward despite uncertainty, trusting that their steps are leading them somewhere worthwhile. One of the greatest challenges to faith in the unseen is doubt. Doubt whispers that without visible proof, nothing is happening. It suggests that unless something is immediately evident, it is not real. But doubt is short-sighted. It focuses only on the present moment, ignoring the reality that growth, change, and transformation often take time before they become visible. The seed underground, the foundation being built, the process unfolding, all these things are unseen at first, but they are no less real because of it. Patience is a key part of faith in the unseen. Just as a farmer does not dig up the seed every day to check if it is growing, a person must resist the urge to constantly demand immediate evidence of progress. Impatience often leads people to abandon what they started simply because they do not see results quickly enough. But breakthroughs, growth, and success do not always happen on a predictable timeline. Faith means trusting that what is unseen today will be seen in time as long as the process is not abandoned. Another challenge is fear. Fear thrives in the unknown. It tells a person that stepping forward without full certainty is dangerous. It exaggerates risks and minimizes possibilities. Many dreams have been left unfulfilled not because they were impossible, but because fear convinced someone that without immediate proof, failure was inevitable. Faith in the unseen is the antidote to this fear. It reminds a person that the unknown is not necessarily dangerous, it is simply undiscovered. Every great achievement, every moment of transformation once existed in the realm of the unknown before it became reality. The truth is, faith in the unseen is woven into every part of life, even in ways people do not realize. Every time a person invests in something for the future, they are demonstrating faith. Every time they work toward a goal without knowing exactly how it will turn out, they are walking in faith. Every time they choose to trust that something good is being formed, even when they cannot see it, they are living by faith. The difference between those who reach their breakthroughs and those who do not is often found in this one principle. Those who trust in the unseen keep moving forward, while those who demand visible certainty remain stuck. Faith in the unseen does not mean ignoring reality. It means believing that reality is often bigger than what is immediately visible. It is the courage to act, the patience to wait, and the persistence to keep going even when results are not yet evident. It is the understanding that what is happening beneath the surface is just as real as what is seen, and that in time, what is unseen will become visible. Those who live with this kind of faith find themselves moving forward, growing, and ultimately stepping into breakthroughs that others never reach, simply because they were willing to trust before they could see. Obedience precedes the blessing because it is a demonstration of faith, trust, and alignment with a greater purpose. Many people desire blessings in their lives, whether in the form of success, spiritual growth, peace, or breakthroughs. Yet they struggle with the idea of obedience. They want the reward without the process, the outcome without the commitment. However, throughout history, in both spiritual and personal experiences, it has been evident that blessings do not simply appear out of nowhere. They follow a path, and that path is obedience. Obedience is often misunderstood as mere rule following or blind submission, but it is much deeper than that. It is an act of trust that acknowledges there is wisdom beyond personal understanding. It is a decision to act in accordance with principles, values, and guidance, even when there is no immediate evidence of reward. People often struggle with obedience because it requires moving forward without full knowledge of the outcome. It demands action before certainty, commitment before clarity, and faith before results. Yet this is precisely why obedience is the gateway to blessing. Those who insist on seeing the reward before taking the step often remain stuck, waiting for confirmation when the only confirmation they need is the call to move. The greatest examples of breakthrough and blessing in history have come not to those who waited passively, but to those who acted in obedience. Many people think that blessings are simply given, but more often, they are the result of alignment with principles that require action. A farmer does not expect a harvest without first planting seeds. The effort comes before the reward, and the obedience of working the land must happen before the blessing of the crops. In the same way, every great achievement, whether in faith, career, or personal growth, follows the pattern of obedience leading to blessing. There is a natural resistance to obedience because it often does not make immediate sense. People prefer to follow instructions when they can see the full picture, yet many of life's most important steps require movement before understanding. This is why obedience is so closely tied to faith. It means trusting that the guidance being followed will lead to something greater, even when it is not yet visible. This is the pattern seen throughout history in the lives of those who stepped into something greater. They were often called to move before the destination was revealed, to act before the results were guaranteed. The blessing did not come because they fully understood the path ahead, it came because they were willing to take the steps they were called to take. Obedience is also a test of readiness. Many people ask for blessings they are not yet prepared to receive. They desire success but are unwilling to develop the discipline required to sustain it. They want influence, but are unwilling to cultivate the humility necessary to handle it wisely. They pray for breakthroughs, but hesitate when they are asked to take the first step. Blessings are not withheld out of cruelty, but because without the foundation of obedience, they would be wasted. A person given a great opportunity before they have developed the responsibility to handle it may find that what should have been a blessing becomes a burden. Obedience is what ensures that when the blessing arrives, the person receiving it is ready to walk in it fully. There is also an important connection between obedience and timing. Many times, people delay taking action because they believe they will have more time in the future. They assume that they can wait until they feel ready, until circumstances are perfect, until all uncertainty is removed. Yet, blessings are often tied to specific moments, and hesitation can mean missing the right time. A door that is open today may not be open tomorrow. An opportunity that is available now may not be available later. Many people look back on their lives and realize that the blessings they missed were not because they were undeserving, but because they were unwilling to move when they were called. Obedience requires trusting not just in the instruction, but also in the timing. It means recognizing that waiting too long can be just as costly as moving too soon. One of the greatest struggles with obedience is that it often requires going against personal comfort. People prefer to stay in familiar places, to follow routines that feel safe, to make decisions based on what is easiest rather than what is right. Yet the greatest blessings often require stepping outside of comfort zones. Growth does not happen in stagnation, and new levels of blessing do not come from staying in the same place. Obedience often calls for action that feels difficult, uncomfortable, or even impossible. It challenges fears, stretches limits, and requires a person to step into the unknown. However, it is in these moments of discomfort that the greatest growth happens. The willingness to step beyond comfort is often what separates those who step into blessings from those who remain in the same place year after year. Obedience also builds trust. When a person chooses to follow guidance despite uncertainty, they strengthen their ability to trust in the future. Every act of obedience reinforces the understanding that unseen blessings often follow unseen steps. The more a person obeys, the more they experience the reality that blessings come through alignment with greater wisdom. This trust grows over time, making it easier to act in faith with each new challenge. Those who continually practice obedience find that they become more confident in taking steps without needing every answer in advance. Many people view obedience as restrictive, as if it limits freedom or prevents personal choice. However, true obedience is not about losing freedom, it is about gaining access to something greater. A person who follows wise financial principles does not lose freedom, they gain stability and opportunities that would not be possible otherwise. Someone who follows the discipline of learning and growth does not become trapped. They become equipped for greater success. Obedience is not about limitation, it is about positioning oneself for something better. Obedience also strengthens character. It requires discipline, perseverance, and the ability to move forward despite challenges. A person who develops the habit of obedience is not easily swayed by circumstances. They do not give up when things become difficult, nor do they abandon their commitments when results are not immediate. Their ability to follow through becomes a source of strength that allows them to handle greater blessings when they come. Many people wish for a higher level of success, influence, or provision. But without the character built through obedience, those blessings can become overwhelming. It is in the process of obedience that a person is shaped into someone capable of carrying greater responsibility. At its core, obedience is about trust. It is an acknowledgement that there is a wisdom greater than personal understanding, and that following that wisdom leads to something better. Many of the greatest blessings come to those who are willing to trust enough to take action before they see the full picture. Those who hesitate, waiting for absolute certainty, often find themselves missing opportunities that could have changed everything. The blessings in life are not simply about being in the right place at the right time. They are about being willing to take the right steps when they are needed. The connection between obedience and blessing is not a formula but a principle. It does not mean that every act of obedience will bring an immediate reward or that challenges will disappear, But it does mean that those who consistently walk in obedience position themselves for greater things. They develop the trust, discipline, and readiness needed to handle the blessings that come. They step into opportunities that others miss. They grow into the kind of people who can carry the weight of greater responsibility. Blessings are not withheld to test patience, but to ensure readiness. Those who desire blessings must first be willing to walk in obedience, trusting that the path they follow will lead to something greater. Those who hesitate, waiting for the blessing before they take the step, often find themselves standing still while others move forward. In the end, obedience is not about restriction, but preparation. It is the process through which blessings are made possible, and those who embrace it will find themselves walking into more than they ever expected.